You're watching Tech Talk in affiliation with Tech for Techs. We're a community that supports independent trade with the help of vendors and distributors. We're live every Thursday at 8 p.m. London time, and we'll be streaming to Facebook and YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Google, TuneIn, and many more. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, and your host, Philip Griffiths.
Hello everyone, welcome to Tech for Tech's Tech Talk. This is a live show, so if I mess up, then well, you're going to see it absolutely live and you can take the mickey out of me all you want. So so today's show is Should I Go Full Time? So basically the show we're going to be talking about, should you transition from working a normal 9-to-5 job, doing whatever you do, working Tesco's, working a bank, whatever it may be, to actually being a computer technician. So we've got 3 guests on today. Nicole's just managed to make it in time by the looks of it. We've got Will I Am, we've also got Ian, and we've got Nicole as well, who's just managed to pop on. So there we go. Right. Okay, guys. So if you can hear us and you can see us, please let us know, and also mention where you're viewing from or what company you're viewing from, so we can give you a shout out. If you are in the Tech for Tech's Facebook group, make sure you click the link, which I'm just about to post. If it lets me, and typical it's not letting me, it's not showing it, but I will post it in a few seconds when it does actually let me, which will allow your name to be seen in the chat. So that should have gone live now. If not, I'll repost it in a few seconds. Right, okay, so first of all, let's go to Will. Will, if you want to introduce yourself, just let everyone know who you are, what you do, and if you've got any tips or stories for us today.
Hi there, I'm Will from Scotland, near Edinburgh, 25 minutes from Edinburgh. I run a computer repair managed service provider as well. Everything's going so far so good. It's been a busy week since Monday. It's been crazy busy. And I think my tip for this show is to use people in the business within the Tech for Tech groups to your advantage, in a good way. And where I mean by that is, there's lots of businesses within the Tech for Tech group. There's data recovery, board repairs, refurbished equipment, marketing, sales advice, and all the knowledge you've got of over 1,200 people. So I found this week, rather than going elsewhere, I've used a few people within the group to help with things, marketing, sales, data recovery, and purchasing refurbished equipment. And it's working great. You've got the backing of the Tech for Tech group as well. So if anything goes wrong, you just go to Jenny or Phil, they'll sort it. And you've got good people within the group. It's fantastic people within the group. So yeah, that's where I've found I've got some stock of a few people, and it's all going good. And Tech for Tech's been an awesome help to my business. So use it to your advantage. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for that. So I'm going to say yes, Tech for Tech's is exactly what we hoped it to be. Is a very useful group for everyone. So it's there for everyone to work together and basically communicate and get stuff sorted. So it's basically grow together. Right, let's just quickly go through the chat. No doubt we've got some funny ones coming in. So let's have a look. So first of all, we got Oh Hello from the Facebook user. Again, Facebook user, if you want to click that link I put into the chat, you should be able to have your name shown. We've got Cormac saying hello from Ireland, looking forward to the show. And we've got Peter Whitehouse as well. We've got hello from Sheffield. They're just up the road from us, just a few miles. Can't wait for the show. And that's Replace Base in Sheffield. If I remember right, Replace Base is coming to the Tech Max as well. So if you are coming next year, you'll probably be able to see those. If they're not coming, then, well, I've just made a big mistake. So, and that's what happens on a live show. We've also got Cormac saying, yes, we can all hear you. Techie Tex, I'm presuming he means Text for Text, but then knowing him is a little bit strange. We've got Add and clear, so that's loud and clear. We've got Neo Computer saying, "Evening, everyone. How are you all doing today?" Yeah, Richard's correcting himself. We've got Great Computer Services. That's Richard Creedy. I always like that name, Great. I say it near enough every time I see him post it, but Great Computer Services. That's definitely a good name. So let's have a look. And yes, how is Nicole Russell's Scottish?
I get along pretty good, but not good at all.
I think you've dealt with Ben before, haven't you? And then you've dealt with Cormac of the Irish, so it shouldn't be too bad, hopefully. But Cormac says Will is right about using people in the group, and he took the time to help train us at Crosshaven Computers on a few things with Synchro. That's pretty good. We've also got, let's have a look. We've got Zane saying Facebook user is me, first time here. Well, welcome, Zane. Welcome to the actual Tech Talk Live. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask, and we'll ask in, well, the best way we can. And if it's wrong, well, just don't blame me, just blame Ian. We can blame him today. Ben's not on the show, we can't blame him. Right, okay. So, right, we've got Neo Computers saying, I wondered why the chat was upside down and now it's not. I'm not sure about that. You probably got a computer upside down or something. No idea, but there we go. Right, okay, so let's have a look. Unless they've changed it again. Didn't the new chat used to come in at the top?
No, I don't think so.
No. Oh, it's probably me going crazy. That's it with a live show. Right, let's go on to Ian before I make a fool of myself. So, Ian, introduce yourself. Tell us exactly who you are, what you do, and what tip, advice, story have you got for us?
Hi, my name's Ian. I own and run IPC Solutions in Sunny Malden in Essex. I buy, sell computers, build gaming machines, and supply to people in the group. And I echo what Will said, to be honest. I think this group's been fantastic since I've joined it. I've utilised lots of people to buy products and all the services. And the help, especially when I get stuck on things, especially Mac problems and board repairs and everything, I just go straight to the group now and just say, book them in with Zach or whoever else I get to do the board repairs, and they get done very quickly. So it's been very helpful for me. Not really some tips, but I've been looking at some new products that are coming out. Razer have got some very nice new products that are entering the market. Hopefully you'll get some for review, Phil. Their all-in-one coolers look very nice, very Corsair-ish-esque, and but they're a lot cheaper. So hopefully they'll be good. So I'm going to get some of those from some of my new builds, I must admit. And some new SSDs that Target have got advertised from NETAC. Not either of them, so I'm going to do a bit more investigation for those as well. Tips, what I've been noticing recently since the channels of tech have improved and prices are coming down, especially for laptops, etc., in the used market, which is good news. And there seems to be a lot more buoyancy with some of the big iTads that I work alongside to get some of my stock from. They're noticing an upturn in the stocks, but I'm not noticing a lot in the people who know me before know I go to auctions and buy a lot of stuff on pallets and stuff like that. And I'm noticing the auctions like iBidder and Simon Charles, they've got some really good laptops for auction, and I'm managing to win them for fairly good prices. And they're all i10 stuff, i5 10th gen stuff and 9th gen. So there are some very good bargains to be had at the auction site. So have a look at those. And the high street, I'm noticing some good bargains. And going back to, Ben's not here, but I'm a bit of a Commodore 64 man. So I managed to buy this in a game, which is the C64 Mini, for 40 quid, which is 15 quid cheaper than Amazon is at the moment, 17 actually. So if you don't want to go to Amazon, go down to Game and buy one of those in there. They're only 40 quid.
That's you can have some good retro fun there with that. So Neo Computers is basically saying about the chat switch twice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's usually at the top, but I'll have to have a look into that afterwards. It's probably them updating the systems in the back end. But regarding what Ian said regarding obviously the NETAC, I think is how you pronounce it. I think he's got a bit of the sneezes at the moment. But the NetAC SSDs, they are pretty good. We've tested them and had a look at them. I think they're exclusive distributor in the UK, Target are. So they are actually pretty good. They did what they said, pretty cheap. Obviously, time will tell if they're going to obviously last or whatever, but I've not had any bad experiences with them. Also regarding Razer, I don't actually have a contact with Razer at the moment, unfortunately. So if anyone does know anyone at Razer, let me know, because I would like to have a look at some of their products. We've recently been doing a lot of reviews for NZXT, so we're going to have a lot of their reviews popping up over the next week or so, as well as Mercusys as well, which is basically TP-Link, and a few other brands as well, which are pretty new. So they'll be showing the faces. So, right, let's move on to Nicole. So, Nicole, introduce yourself. Let everyone know who you are. So let everyone know why we've got an American on the show and why they're probably really confused. And if you've got any tips for us.
I'm just so special. I just love, Phil, you're amazing. I was in your group and I love watching the live. So I was really happy just to be able to be on here. But I operate Cellbotics, which is a training center here in the US. We have 2 locations, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast of the US. And we teach people to enter repair. And so it's really wonderful because we work with beginners all the time. We don't have to work with the techie guys. And we teach computer and cell phone repair, now gaming. We've added gaming. And we have online and in-person courses. And so, that's what we do. Now, my tip, I want to stay in line with the should you go full time topic and kind of give a tip about if you're going full time, a lot of people, or if you're like on the fence about it, like maybe you're working and doing this on the side. That's what we were talking, right? That's what the topic is generally about. Is like
no, it's actually talking. Yeah, we are.
Okay. All right. So for me, a lot of people here in the US come to us because they've decided to go full time, right? So they want to get proper training, but they're always focused on the hardware. They always come and they think all I have to learn is all the hardware stuff. And they forget like the business side of it. They forget the sales side, the customer service side, the forms, the processes, the procedures, the insurances, the paperwork that you need to have when you're dealing with your customers. Like, yes, alt space, no, VR. So they forget all of that. So if you are on the fence, you really should also not just think about my hardware skills. Start thinking about, well, since I'm going to go full time, this now turns into a business, so I need to expose myself to that. And there are a lot of free resources for business on YouTube in our industry, but they have very little likes or watches because people are so focused on the hardware videos. So you can search even business topics on YouTube. We have some free content on our YouTube channel and even free forums. You can go to cellboticsonline.com and you can download a bunch of forums and it's completely free. So, focus. My tip is don't make it all about the hardware side, because once you go full time, there's a lot involved in running a business and it's not just fixing stuff.
Right. Yeah. Pretty good advice there. Yeah. A lot of people focus on the tech side of things and just don't think about the business. And obviously, if you don't think about the business, you won't have a business to think about anyway after that, to be honest, because it'll be gone. That's it. So you need to spend time on the business sometimes, not just in it. Right. Okay. So let's go on. I suppose it's me next. But first of all, just make sure if you are in the Tech for Tech's Facebook group, you click on that link, which I did post on there. So hopefully it should be working now. Okay, and now I've got feedback, which will allow your name to be shown. Right, okay, and also don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you do like us. It was always nice to see these little hearts and thumbs all flying over the screen. It also helps us get seen as well. So come on, guys, stop pressing those thumbs and thumbs up and whatever. No, they're not interested, are they?
I can't do it.
It must be too boring. I know you can't do it, but oh well, there we go. Right, so my tip, advice, or who I am, basically, I'm Phil from Tech for Techs. Also run a retail computer store called Chips Computers. Been in the trade for too long, and basically, I help obviously run Tech for Techs with my wife Jennifer. She's the actual owner. What my tip of the day is, I've got a couple of different bits and bobs. So first of all is Bitcoin, ETH, and other cryptocurrencies have gone sky high again. While they've dropped a little bit since then, it can only mean one thing. And yeah, you know it, that GPU demand will be even higher than normal. And what does that usually mean? The prices will probably go up as well, unfortunately. On top of that, DDR5 memory is popping up everywhere. Get ready for the new Intel motherboards, socket 1700, I think it is. And memory speeds are going up to 6,600 megahertz potentially from G-Skill, and other manufacturers are not far behind. And on Windows 11, you can now try out 50 different Android apps on Windows 11 if you've got the Insider Preview, which obviously, give it a few weeks, it'll probably end up on live. So you'll be able to play with all your Android apps, or 50 of them at least, obviously in Windows itself. So, right, let's have a look, see what David's having to say before we move on. He's saying, hi everyone, I went full-time about 5-6 years back. Best thing I ever did. And that's David at Scorpion Computers. That's good, David. I'm glad you're still with us. Well, unfortunately, one of those things, starting off self-employed, not many people make it through to 2 years, unfortunately. A lot of people think, oh yeah, it's going to be a doddle, I'm going to be able to get all this money, charge whatever I want, go on holiday all the time, work for a week every year, and we're going to be millionaires by the time we're all 30 or 40 or whatever age you are. And, well, it doesn't happen like that, or very rarely, let's put it that way. So, right, so let's go on to the main topic, which is obviously this, which should I go full-time? So I'm going to start off with Will, or Will I Am, should we say, and actually see what his thoughts about it. So,
Okay.
should someone go full time?
To give a little background for me, first of all, okay, about 2008, I think it was, when I registered my business. I was going to start going. I was working up till then, always working. So I've been working from 2008 in industries that's nothing to do with tech. And I've always had a passion and my loves with technology. Went to university, got the qualifications, a whole lot, and then started in 2012 business-wise. So I've been managing since 2012 business-wise, but I've always been part-time because I work with a local authority just now, as well as do the computer business as well. So I've always been part-time, and a good show topic tonight as well is, should I take that jump to go full-time? Business is going good. There's more I can be doing. I'll never be a millionaire in this business, I don't think, because my main sort of passion is just to help people. You know, I'm covering the bills, but that's another show. That's for another show. So yeah, it's whether I should go full time and make the jump, and that's what I'm trying to weigh up. It's that whole, well, COVID has blown everything out the water as well. You know, letting you see if for self-employed people, a lot of people have lost their businesses during COVID and things like that. So I'm working from home still. I've got an office in my garden, and I built an office through the proceeds of business and things like that. So yeah, it's whether I'm going to go full time and do it. So yeah, advice is what I'm looking for on this show tonight, and whether I should jump and go and do it. Because I'm doing really good. Business is doing really good. I'm taking on more services, as I said at the start of my tip. I'm using people within the group to offer more services. Soon, hopefully, by sort of first quarter next year, take on a member of staff, and again offer more services and things like that, because the managed service provider section is going good as well. So yeah, I really am truthfully stuck on the fence with this one, whether I should, within the next 12 months or so, go full time, or keep with the secure income in one half and do the computers in the other half. I really want to go full time, but it's just, I think, making that jump so you've still got your income coming in, and you know, I've got a secure income to now from another job. So it's a bit of a So advice, please, tonight on the comments.
Yes, I'm going to say we've got a nice comment there from David. I don't know if you saw that one. He says, Will, love the new webcam. We can see you now. Never realised you had no hair, unfortunately.
So I have got hair on my legs.
We don't want a Ben moment here.
No.
We don't want him showing your knees off
You
and
get my leg
stuff.
up that high past the table, that'll give you a fright.
Right, so we've got Neo Computers also said, I wish it worked like that. I'm guessing he's on about working probably 1 week a year or basically having time off and so forth. Richard Creedy says, I wish, laugh out loud, I was self-employed after being made redundant and have been muddling through since 2008. My problem at the moment is health-related. Well, your muddling hasn't done too bad if you've still got a job, basically, or you're still self-employed after 13 years. So you've done something right. I'm going to say most businesses struggle to get past that 2-year mark. So you're doing something right, Richard. There's definitely for sure there. And Zany, I think it's pronounced, GFX, says, with going full-time, I'd say definitely make sure you've got someone to keep you company, or else you'll end up mentally drained on heavy levels. So, yeah, it can be draining being self-employed because you never switch off. I'll tell you that now. So you will never switch off. You're on holiday, you're thinking about work, you're constantly checking your emails even when you shouldn't be. Everyone says they're not, but they are. You're constantly thinking about it because obviously if you work for someone else, basically once you go home at 5 o'clock, you can put your feet up, watch TV or whatever, but when you work for yourself, you're constantly thinking about your customer tomorrow. Did you do something right? Have you done your accounts? Have you done whatever? Have you, I don't know, all the usual stuff as well. Did I feed the cat and dog and everything else? And maybe the wife and kids as well. Well, probably dog and cat probably come first. So let's have a look. Right, okay. So we've got a few different topics coming up in the near future. And this is regarding to one of the things what Zany says, which we're sort of in the process of organising, and that's going to be to do with mental health as well. And I want to also do another show regarding how you deal with stress as well. So it'll all tie in together. So it might be something for a lot of you guys who are having issues or basically have problems basically de-stressing, maybe an interesting watch for you, as well as obviously about mental health issues. I was actually quite surprised with the amount of people who have mentioned in the Tech for Text group how many have actually had or have got mental health issues. So it'll be an interesting show, that's for sure. Right, let's move on to Ian next. So Ian, what's your views on the topic? Should someone go full-time?
It's something very similar to Will, to be honest, that I myself am part-time. I work also for the local authority. My current working pattern is 4 days a week. I work 30 hours a week, basically full-time, plus probably about another 20 for myself. So I do work the hours anyway. I work for myself on Fridays and Saturdays. I'm mainly buying and selling, I suppose, at the moment. I sell on eBay and Amazon. I think the biggest thing for me is I've got a comfortable income with the job I do. I enjoy the job that I do in most parts. I love buying and selling. The missus always said I should be the market trader, but I do love the buzz. But I think you touched on it, Phil. Even for me, I'm never not thinking about business or customers. I'm not chasing business because I don't need to. I think because when I started the business in 2010, it was very much I was full-time working anyway, so it was very much on the side, and it took quite a few years to establish myself in the local area, and just develop a client base and try and find trade suppliers and other people that I can buy decent stuff off, because I was buying most of my stuff on eBay and then reselling it on eBay at a high price, which is good, but the margins aren't there. So I think for me, because I've got the holiday pay, I've got the sick pay, I've got a good salary, for me to go full time, I don't think I could do it at home. As you see, this is my working room, my office. I've got a storage container that I store most of my gear in, that I buy and sell. Well, 1.5 now because I buy so much rubbish. And it's just, I would then have to go into, I would have to rent an office because my missus doesn't want this full time in the house anyway. And to be honest, I don't think I would, because I don't think I'd switch off. And like you say, Phil, you've got a shop, but you still don't switch off. And I think that's the line of work that we're in. And because we're so online, everything we do is online. You're always on your phone. You've got communications that you're never going to sort of leave it alone. So I'm a bit on the fence, and I'd like to know not exactly what people are earning, but what the net salary or what profit there can be. I'm utilising more local people because there's services that I can't do. I've turned down many businesses that have asked me to support them because I can't be there on the Monday to Thursday when they might have a problem. I'd be like, yeah, you have to wait till 5:30 when I'm back from work. Then I'll pop round and do it, but they want it instantly, or they want me to be able to log on online, and I can't do that. But now I've kind of almost sort of taken the walls off, and I'm starting to use other people locally, and I'm going to go and meet the new guy that's taken over from the computer shop in town, because I've used them quite a lot in the past. Forge some relationships with him, see what services he does that I don't, and that he might deal with businesses more, and then we can do some kind of joint subcontract work there. I'm already sort of dealing with Paul, who is back down in Burnham. I refer some people to him that live in the Dengie, because it just makes sense for him. He's coming to do some of my networking stuff because I don't do that. And maybe I should learn how to do it. But again, that will then be doing the business side of things, which, unless I take that plunge and go full time, and then maybe get someone to work with me, which again is an additional cost, I don't know how many hours I'm going to have to work to make the money that I do now. I'm quite comfortable. I don't have kids or anything, not through not wanting them. I just haven't. But so it's a tricky one. I'm also scared. I'll be honest. I'm scared of taking that plunge, because I've been in comfort for 30 years of work. I've always had a regular income. Apart from when I was very young and had a road accident, I've always been in work. So it's very difficult taking that plunge. Friends of mine say do it who are not tech related, but motorcycles and motor cars and stuff, and they say it's the best thing, but they've now gone back to working for employers because they didn't want the 7-day a week working. So it swings and roundabouts, and I'm a bit on the fence. And if I do jump, I'm going to have to look at premises, which is another expense. And will I then be making just enough money to survive and not really have excess income? That's where I am. So some of the comments that we're making, like Zany as well, I think that's a really good point, because I do feel mentally drained now with 2 jobs. And I think being self-employed totally, then you've got the additional stress of paying a mortgage and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a bit of, I'm on the fence. I really am. I do want to do it, but I'm scared. Who are not tech related, but motorcycles and motor cars.
Okay, thank you for that, Ian. That's definitely a good insight of where you were actually coming from. Just before I go a bit further in, if you are having issues on the Facebook page watching, I've refreshed it. It should be fine if you refresh the page, fingers crossed. So just refresh on your browser. You should know how to do that if most of your text, or at least hopefully. Or you can click the link I put into the chat, which will take you onto the Facebook page rather than the Facebook group, and you'll be able to watch it there. It seems to be working fine there. And also, I've just been told, and I wasn't too sure if it was going to work or not, we are actually now live on Instagram as well. So according to Cormac anyway, so if you want to believe him, that's another thing. Believe in an Irishman who drinks a lot of Guinness and whiskey and stuff like that. I don't know, but apparently we are live on Instagram. So if you are watching on Instagram, please give us a hi. Right, okay, so let's move on to Nicole. So what's your thoughts, Nicole, and what's your opinion on what, for example, Ian and Will I Am has said?
Yeah, so you guys brought up some really good points, and these are things that I deal with a lot of people that are thinking about going full-time or have decided to, but maybe are still on the fence, maybe still have their job, and they took some time off to come to our training. And so I do hear this side a lot. And what I always like to point out is that we always think that our jobs are secure, right? And so we always look at our jobs as like, well, that's my job. Like we just always have it. You know what I mean? And for me, like I was working full time so I started my cell phone stores back in 2008-ish, around there. I started in flea markets, like selling things. I didn't really fix things. I got into fixing later. And I was doing that. I was doing it on the side on the weekends, and I was working full time. And it was very scary because I also was a single mom with a very small child. And what I did is I just realized I was working these 2 days. I was making this much money. And then I just figured, imagine if I actually invested the whole week into my business, what would happen, right? And what I did is I just put down how much I made, which I made really good income compared to someone that, I don't have a college education or anything. I was doing payroll for the Juvenile Justice Center. I was making a pretty good salary, about $80K a year. I had very good benefits. But I didn't have any freedom. I had 1 week maternity leave. So it was like, I really wanted to be on my own, and I do want to be a millionaire. so I have really big goals, and so for me, it was like, I grew up in poverty. So it's like, what can I do to get out of that and change that generationally? I can't do it with a job. I can't. I can't. I can preach to my kids to go to college and get a good career, but I can't change generational wealth issues being in a job. Okay. And unless I'm like a doctor or something, right? Then yeah, I probably could make a dent and put them in better schools and all that kind of stuff. Right. But I was like, I got to do this. So what I did is I just sat down and I figured, how much do I need to make? And I do this with I have some like coaching clients that I have, and I just say, hey, what is it that you need? Right? Because sometimes we don't even know, like we really don't know what we need to make. We just think we have this overview. Well, I need my same check, but sometimes it's not that, sometimes it's even a little more and we're living check to check, and that's why we do these side things. And so it's finding out, what do you need? What do you make? What do you want to make? Right? What do you need? And then dividing that up by the average profit you're making per repair now. Per sale now. Like you say, okay, my average is like, here our average repair, like after part cost, is $80. So sometimes you're going to make less, sometimes you're going to make more. So it's an average, right? And I say, well, say I wanted to make, $4,000 a month. Divide that by 80. I don't have a calculator. I just want to show you how this works, right? So I say, okay, $4,000 a month divided by 80, that's 50, divided by 4. Hold on. I just want to make sure that's right. Divided by, sorry, Phil.
I'll let you off this time.
Okay. So that's 12 repairs a week. That's it. Right. And $4,000 is a pretty medium to lower income range. You could, that's pretty like standard, living. Right. And so, yes, there are stresses that come with owning your own business. But I must tell you, after my first 2 years, and I can tell you the first year, half the time I spent crying. It's like, why did I leave my job? Where's my paycheck? I was so used to trading my time for money. And now, 12, 13 years later, I don't trade time for money. My people make money for me, right? That's my saying, right? People make money for me. I wake up every time I'm doing something. It could be making copies. I'm thinking, how can I give this away? Because other people make my money for me, right? And so, like, I have staff working all through the building right now. And I started my flea markets with $100, but right now I've got probably 10 people in the building right now working, making my money for me while I'm here live with you guys. And that's not to brag. It's just to show you that how far my mentality has come, as far as coming from where that fear came from. I had the same fear. I was like, I don't want to jump out and go full time and then have this stress. But in reality, I love it. I'm not stressed. Outside of personal issues, I'm good. My business is great. I love my business. Now, if you talk about marriage and all that, I might get a little stressed on you, but but when it comes to my business, I absolutely love being here. I love getting up every morning. I love doing what I do. And like Phil said, you look at your messages when you're not supposed to. And it's not because you have to, it's because you love what you do and you value your customer and you value your employees. I'll be on vacation. My family already knows. They're like, hey, I need a couple hours. They don't don't complain, because you know what? Why are we here on vacation together and I paid for everything? I need a couple of hours. I need to be able to look at my email without you nagging at me. You know what I mean? But I'm still present, and I do a lot of great things. And so, yeah, going full time can be scary. But just for a minute, I just want you to challenge that fear that's in your mind that says, I can't do this. I might have this issue. I might have that issue. I might not make enough. I might not. Look, guys, you're already making money now. Just you take all those hours and put them into yourself, you know? So I don't like to convince people to leave their job, but you know, it can be done. So
okay, definitely some good tips there from everyone, to be honest with you. Guys, who are, or should I say everyone who is watching, what's your tips? What made you move from part-time to full-time? Did you find it easy or did you find it difficult? Feel free to comment in chat so we can have a talk about it. Some of the things for me, I would say for going full-time from part-time, you have to basically be clear about how you're going to get your customers is the first thing. So obviously, if you're part-time doing it already, and let's just say your average working week's 50 hours, and to be honest with you, if you're self-employed, that's actually quite low. You're probably more like 80 hours like a lot of us, to be honest with you, or more. But let's just pretend you worked 50 hours a week sort of thing. Okay, and 40 hours are at your normal job. Let's just say Tesco's, which is a supermarket, and you spend 10 hours part-time a week on your IT business. So if you're going to want to move to your IT business, you've got to obviously scale your IT business up quite a bit. So that you've got to figure out how you're going to get 4 times more customers, really, to make up the time and effort of doing it. So you've got to figure out do you need to spend more on advertising, or are you able to suddenly miraculously get 4 times more customers with no effort at all? If you are, well, you're going to be a millionaire next year. You'll be like Del Boy. Nicole won't know who Del Boy is, but most people who are watching this will do. So, but yes, you'll definitely be Del Boy if you're able to make that much money in a year. But it's not going to happen unless your name's Elon. But otherwise, do you have money obviously put on one side, or have you got enough to be able to weather through bad times? Tech trade can be seasonal. Things can happen, dare I name coronavirus, which can cause issues. So just make sure you have got enough money on one side to cover you. As I said, most tech businesses fail in 2 years, either because A, they don't have enough money in reserve, or the person just gives up because it's too stressful or whatever it may be, but generally they don't last 2 years. So you've got to be able to cope with periods of little or no income. And trust me, when you get when it's quiet and you're thinking, what the hell have I done? No customers are calling, no one's visiting the store, and you're thinking, God, what's happened? Have they all died, or have I done something wrong what I don't know about, and everyone's run away? And then suddenly when it gets busy, it gets stupidly busy. So it never seems to sort of spread out nice and even. It's either really busy or really quiet, which is something you've got to think about, is if that's going to be busy or whatever, what happens if you're ill? Or let's just say you've got health issues, like I think it was Richard Creedy said he's got health issues. Are you able to get someone to cover you? And this is a good tip, is find a local other business what does similar thing to you to actually work with, as in if they're ill, they'll cover for you, and if you're ill, they'll cover for you, vice versa, and so on. So it's always best is not make your competitors actual competitors, actually make them friends, because they're just doing exactly the same thing as you. They're wanting to make a living, pay the kids going to school, and make sure the wife's happy and different things like that, or the husband, depending on who it may be. So they just want to make obviously make a decent income just like you. And have you thought about benefits you may lose? And when I don't mean benefits, I don't necessarily mean you're getting handouts from the government. You're going to lose out on things like holiday pay. I know in the States things are a little bit different, but holiday pay over here, you probably get 20, 30 days a year holiday pay. Sick pay. Are you going to get any of that? If you're not going to be able to call in and call yourself and say, I'm sick, can you give me some money for the day? Ain't going to happen. And obviously pensions and anything like that, insurance, you've got to pay for all that yourself. So you're not going to get that from your current company that you're with. And so you are going to have a few difficulties there. So let's just have a quick go through chat, what we've saying. Let's have a look. Someone needs to mute their mic while they aren't talking. So we're getting a bit of feedback, are we, Richard? Let us know if you can figure out who it is. But it's probably someone who's using speakers. I'm not sure who. I haven't changed my setup, but we've got 3 other guests on here, so I can't say really who it is. But I'll try and mute them one at a time while I'm talking, see if it makes any difference. So, right. Yes, Peter, you can use quiet times to work on your business. Exactly. So, yeah, that obviously includes accounting, marketing, different things like that. You can spend... There's never really a quiet time. There's always something to do. It might be quiet as in you've not got any money coming in, but you can always be working on the next job. So you could be planning Christmas, Easter, Halloween if you do it, and different things like that in advance, and then you've got a lot less to do when it actually gets to that point. But yeah, definitely agree with Peter there. Let's have a look what Cormac's saying. Most businesses, be it coffee shops or tech shops, just do enough. They don't do anything extra. So they are just average. So all you have to be is 10% better, customer service, etc., and you will be great. Yeah, you've basically got to stand out from the rest. So let's just say which company stands out, or let's just say, okay, I know this may sound a bit strange. You are standing at the bottom of a hill and you see 10 elephants at the top of the hill. 9 of them are pink, and 1 of them's grey or whatever colour they usually are, okay? Which one is the actual one what stands out? Is it the 9 pink ones or actually the one what's grey? You'll find it's the one what's different than all the others. Even though elephants aren't normally pink, or none that I know of anyway, it will be the grey one, which is actually what we class as normal, is the one what stands out. So you need to stand out from the rest, whether it's be changing your logo or doing extras. And Cormac is a brilliant person to speak to, as if you're wanting to do extras. He gives like sweets away with machines when he's sold the machines, like sticks of Haribo's in the box and stuff like that. It's something he was talking about earlier. I think it's when he's going around business clients, I think he's sort of doing like a wireless charging units he's giving away to the customers with his logo on. So that could replace the old idea of giving the mouse mats out and stuff like that. And he says it's pretty cheap. So if you're wanting to look at a business which is slightly different and maybe slightly crazy in some ways, the way Cormac is, then he's the ideal person to have a look at how things are different. Obviously, don't copy him exactly, because you need to be different than him. You need to do something a little bit different, stand out from the rest. Otherwise, you'll just blend in with everyone else, and there's no reason why anyone should pick you other than anyone else on the list. So Richard Creedy says, doing accounts and other business paperwork while quiet. Yeah, exactly. I think that's what Peter said a second ago. And we've also got comments saying, also don't take big loans, bootstrap it, and then big questions you need to ask them. Yeah, I agree with that. Having a shop front means you might miss out on during business. Yeah, one of the things I would always advise, and I got sort of stuck in this issue, and I had a lot of debt at one point with my business. Luckily, that's all sorted now. But that was mainly because I was able to get so much stuff on credit. It was stupid. So you'd buy the stuff in on credit, you didn't have to pay it off right away, and then you'd sell the stuff, and then you suddenly had to pay the credit back, and it's like, oh, the money hasn't cleared yet, and all this, that, and the other, and it puts it off. So if you are going, obviously, onto things like that, going credit, just watch what you're doing, because a lot of these companies are a bit like credit card companies. They will give you stupid amount of credit sometimes. I had a credit limit with one supplier at the time of £75,000. Bear in mind, at the time, I had at that time, my business was new, and I was only earning around about 40,000 a year. So it's easy to get caught in that trap. So just watch what you're doing, okay?
Did you max it out?
So I didn't max it out, but I got about halfway there, I think. So if you add it all up, so it got a bit of a problem. Luckily, with the supplier, or a couple of suppliers actually managed to work it out and pay it off per month, and I worked my ass off for that 12 months. It was pretty much 7 days a week. It was like up at 7 o'clock in the morning, bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, sort of thing. It was like, right, but I was determined not to let the business fail, and luckily I didn't, because years later the business has grown. It's a hell of a lot better now. We've won awards and different things like that, and luckily we don't need to use credit anymore. So I don't use credit on anything, even credit cards, anything like that. I basically pay for everything in cash, which is a bit of a pain because some suppliers charge you extra for buying stuff in cash sometimes, unless you do bank transfers. So if you use a debit credit card, well, not a credit card, but a debit card, they charge you 1% extra for business fees, which is a bit of a pain. Right, so Cormac, if you see many pink elephants, stop taking acid. Yes, Cormac. To be honest, Cormac, with the stuff I see you post on Facebook, I won't be surprised if I saw lots of pink elephants, to be honest with you. And he'll probably end up posting some tomorrow just for the sake of it. Also, we've got Neo Computer saying, very easily done, Phil, especially when you're thinking about trying to get stock in for the shop. Yeah, that was basic. The basics issue we had is we were selling on products elsewhere, and then suddenly that elsewhere place stopped paying the bill, and we didn't get the money from them. Hence, I couldn't pay the bill off, and hence I had issues. I got the money back in the end. It took a long time and a lot of legal stuff and so forth, but luckily I was able to pay a lot of money off. I can't remember the exact amount it was, but it was over 2 distributors basically. So, but luckily they both allowed me to pay it off. So that's the good thing about it. So we all make mistakes, but be prepared. You can easily fall into them. Okay, so just obviously watch what you're doing and stay away from credit if you can, unless you really know what you're doing and that you know you can definitely pay it off. And if you can pay it off straight away. Right, enough of me rambling. Let's go on to Will. Will, what do you want to add into that?
Well, I think what you're saying there is good for us to hear, that someone previously, you got in a situation like that, and through working hard, you've come out the other side better for it. And it certainly helps me gain an understanding of how people who are successful in business just now are managing to do that. Because, yeah, I'm in the same situation. I started business, you get all these suppliers phoning you, use us, we'll give you such and such credit limits and things like that. Thankfully, I'm not, well, hopefully not going to use them like that anyway, but you never know. I don't have a storefront, so I'm working from home in my office. So it's certainly, if you've got a storefront, I can imagine you've got to try and fill it with stock. And on the other side, like what Nicole was saying as well, that I love doing the tech stuff, and I think that's what keeps me sane at the moment, because my other job, I'm getting really just fed up with doing it, because I want to do the tech stuff more often. And that's my passion, and that's what I love doing, and I look forward to coming in and doing it. So that's, for me, that would just be enough to push me over the full-time side of things and doing it. And like you say, it's planning ahead. And one thing that nobody knows is what's around the corner. I know customers and even myself, my family, that people's died early, people's retired early, and they die early. So you never know what's around the corner, so go for it. I think that would be my saying, that within the next 12 months, I think myself, I'd be going full-time, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Well, obviously, if anyone is thinking of going full-time and they are in the Tech for Tech group, feel free to ask. Don't be shy. And that's what Tech for Tech is there for, is for you to learn, ask questions, obviously, hopefully get some answers as well while you're at it. But we're all there. We've seen people from when they first had the shop, and it looked like a derelict building and sort of thing, and they were asking how to make it look better and stuff like that. And there's lots of questions going around, so feel free to always ask. Let me just see. I can hear that feedback, what someone was on about. Let me see if it happens now. No, I'm not hearing it now. So I think I know who it is, Will. I think your speakers are feedbacking, unfortunately. So I've just turned this Will's sound off, and the feedback seems to have stopped. So I might be wrong. It might be Ian, but we'll carry on talking.
Is it my new microphone?
Hard to say. It might be, it might not be. I'll by the time we've finished, I'll probably find out whose it is, but I'm not seeing anything. So, yeah, as Peter says, credit accounts are fine as long as you keep on top of your cash and cash flow and strict with your purchases. Yeah, it can be, but things happen. For example, we thought we were fine. Somewhere was buying our stuff from us, so we're sort of passing stuff on, and they were buying thousands of pounds, and then suddenly they don't pay. Then we can't pay our supplier, and then suddenly everything rolled on from there, basically. And well, we got out of it, and I think because of it, it made us stronger because we knew how hard we could actually work. We thought of different ways of doing things. So don't think of every negative as a negative. There's always a positive in there somewhere. I know that's a hard thing to think of, but there's usually a positive in everything, but you may not necessarily realise it at the time. So, right, let's go on to Ian then. So, Ian, have you got anything else you'd like to add on to the show?
There's been loads of really good comments there, and I think computers. I've got one credit account, my only one, which was with Target, funnily enough, and I used it once. I've got the money to pay for goods, and I always buy everything for cash because I know where I stand. I'm very similar to you, Phil. I mean, on a personal level, when I was young, I used to frivolously spend my money and racked up loads of credit card debts. Not massive amounts of money, but it was more than I wanted to afford at the time. But I now pay everything for cash. I don't have a credit card, but I thought I'll have a credit account. But the thing is, I forgot to pay it. So you start getting warning emails and you go all panicky. You go, oh, no. You quickly pay it off. And then, but I think the thing about stock is a very interesting point, because I started to buy stock items from Target for keyboards and mouse sets and things like that. And I look round and they're still on the shelf. And I think because everything's available next day, when you work at home, you don't need to keep stock. And I think I've learned that because it's like dead money. But I think if I had a shop, then yeah, you'd have to. I think you'd have to carry a certain amount of products. And the trouble is, like I mentioned in the start of the show, just looking at the new products that keep coming out, the new next best thing potentially. Things go out of date and people say, oh, I want that one now. I don't want your one. And you could be left with dead money. And that's one of the things that I would panic about if I was to get stock items, unless you get them on sale on return, which not many places do these days, which would be a good thing. But no, I am thinking about it. And I think I'm slightly different position to Will, whereas he's a bit fed up with his job, and to a degree, sometimes I am. It's. I would, Nicole, you said some really interesting things, really thought-provoking things, to be honest. And I will seriously have a think about it. And some of the comments that people have been saying are very true as well. And I think the not burning myself out. I don't want to work 8 hours a week. I'll be honest with you. I really don't. I'm heading towards 50, and I just don't want it. But it's getting that balance, and then it's working out how much, like you said, Nicole, you work out how much you're earning at the moment, doing 1-2 days a week, and then you have to times that by 5, and then you could potentially see what you could earn.
And then eventually, your fastest goal is to be able to bring on someone to give stuff away, so then you're not working so long. Like, I can walk away. I mean, you talk about being ill, Phil. Phil brought that up, right? Just 3 months ago, I went into the hospital for a month with pancreatitis, like out on drugs, morphine, drip. Like, I mean, I was like here in the office at 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. I was in the emergency room in the hospital bed on morphine. Like, it was like, Nicole's gone. But my people just kept going. Like, it was nothing stopped except for there was a little bookkeeping that was behind, but my assistant was able to print checks. And I was like mind blown when I came back and I realized, wow, I really have a team here. If this would have happened to me my first year, it would have been pretty devastating because I was my only income earner. But my first year I was sick and I worked sick. I never Never. In 8 years, I had not missed a day at my business. It didn't care if I had the flu. I was coming in. Like, there was nothing that could stop me. It would have to be surgery. So, yeah. So you guys have some really great points. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to add to that.
No. It's valid. Very, very valid. Yeah. But I think that's where I am. I think you utilizing the group, and I think I read it just up there. Someone said about partners. I can't see where that was in the chat, but someone there is Richard. Make them partners that you work with, which is what I'm now trying to do. Like with Paul, I've pulled him on the job with me. So if I can subcontract work, take my cut, and then they're going to earn their money as well. And I think that's the way. If I didn't go full time, I would utilize my partners, local partners, more to do the things I can't do. And I think that's a really, really good point for part timers actually. But you got to trust them, and it's about building trust and relationships, which is what we do.
That's true. That's very, very true. Just for some things for you to think about, guys, if you are thinking of going from basically setting up as a sole trader, and a lot of you are probably part-time, I'm pretty sure Will and Ian aren't, but you're probably doing it that part-time, you haven't bothered setting up a HMRC or something like that. So make sure you get, obviously, your health HMRC. You need to let them know that you're self-employed, and you've got to play your self-assessment, which is a class 2 and 4 national insurance as well. So you've got to make sure you get all that set up. Also get yourself a bank account set up. And when I say a bank, I mean a business one. All your business funds need to go through one bank account, because it's easier for you to sort your accounts out and figure out how much you're paying tax, but also stops a taxman coming knocking on the door wondering why you're buying your Subway out of your business bank account, and why you've got bills for, I don't know, fancy knickers and stuff from Ann Summers. You just never know. So make sure you do have a business bank account set up. So that's one of the things. Obviously, if you've got a building, make sure you've got going into a building, make sure you've got a proper tenancy agreement or a mortgage agreement or renters agreement or some sort of form that basically says they can't just kick you out with a moment's notice, unless obviously you do something really bad, because the last thing you want to do is move into a premises and then be told, right, in 30 days you're out. Basically, make sure you get sign something that says they need to give you so much time notice, because that could devastate your business if you've got nowhere to move, or you're trying to have to move while you're working at the same time. Insurance is another thing you need to check out. Make sure you're insured. So I forget the name of the professional indemnity insurance, is it? And public liability insurance. Make sure you've got covered for those. Obviously, it covers you doing any work. So obviously, if you end up blowing someone's computer up or something like that, hopefully you shouldn't. It covers you under that. And obviously, if you burn someone's house down in the process, hopefully you'll get legal cover as well. And last but not least, think of your pension. Think what's going to happen to you when you retire, when you get to, well, I don't know many self-employed people who actually ever really retire, but if you do get to that point of retiring, are you going to want a pension? Obviously you're going to need an income when you're retired. Unless you've made that much money, you don't really care anymore, but that rarely happens. So just make sure you get yourself a pension set up as well. Because obviously when a lot of businesses you're with, you're usually included in the pension parts, or you may pay a little bit extra into that business to get your pension. You probably might find when you move away from that business, you lose your pension, or you'll get a limited pension or something along that lines, depending on how much you've paid in over the years. Right, we're coming to the end of the show. We'll go around everyone again in a second. I'm pretty sure Nicole's got a million things to add as well. Yeah. She usually does. No, but we'll have a show in a few weeks' time. We've got a lot of shows coming up planned of actually how to scale up your business. So it sort of follows on from this, where you actually are self-employed, and then you're thinking, do I need some member of staff to help me? And then we're going to discuss the to's and fro's against getting a member of staff as well. So is it better not to have a member of staff? Is it good to have staff? Or should you just outsource your work, which saves you having the issues? But again, to's and fro's. So we'll talk about that in a few weeks. But let's go to Nicole next, and then we'll go around Will and Ian. So have you got anything else you'd like to add into the conversation?
Yeah, so I think am I on? Yeah. Okay. I think knowing your why you want to go work for yourself is a really good thing. Of course, you've got to do advertising and marketing and all of that kind of stuff. You can find someone local to outsource that too. Also, you can find someone who's a freelancer who works from home that can do ads and marketing for you to help with that. But to have your drive, right? So my why was because I didn't want to continue to have generational check to check. Like that's how my family has always lived. I'm the first generation business owner. So it's like my family has always lived check to check, and I just didn't want to live like that anymore, right? Sometimes it's check to day. I don't know if you guys ever heard that before. Like you get paid the next day, you're completely broke. Like there is no check to check. It's check to the next day. And so I wanted to stop that, and that was my why. So every single time, and we've lived in a really rundown house, and so every time that I would think, okay, in a bad area, I would think, okay, man, this is so hard. I'm going to go back to work. I look around and I say, I cannot get out of here from here. I can't. I can work every day for these people. I can work my overtime, and they're giving me $20, which I don't know what that is in your guys' currency. They're giving me $20 for 1 hour of my life. And it is almost offensive now that you give me and say, here's $20, now do all this stuff for an hour. You see what I mean? Now there's some people out there that work and they love that. They want that paycheck. So if you're someone who's content and you just want to check and you want to be with your family, then that's fine. Not everybody has the same goals. But if you're someone that wants to go full time, finding your why and really hanging on to that. And then when you think, oh, I wish I just had my job back, sit and really, just for a second, offend yourself. They gave me $15 for 1 hour of my life. I don't want to go back to that. Okay, now what do I need to do? It's 8 o'clock at night. What do I need to do? I still need to be working on my business, because what I always tell my new business owners is you need to sit down and talk to your family and say, give me a year, 2 years. I need at least a year to just be all in. This is the end goal. You can be a part of it this way, or you can just observe, but I don't want it to stress our relationship, because I also do work with a lot of men. Okay. You talked about pleasing the wife, right? Making the wife happy. So, I do work in a male dominated industry. So it is a constant concern that I hear from men is, oh, the wife don't want me doing this. The wife wants me here at this time. I say, well, this is your dream. You want this type of life. She's included in that. And maybe if you just sat down and said, look, this is my vision and I've written it out. This is my goal. This is a timeline. And I need you to give me room to do this, right? Because sometimes we jump into things and we don't explain to our partner why we're doing them and what our deep inner thoughts are. We just say, hey, this is my goal, but we don't actually sit down and say, look them in the eye and say, this is what I need to do. So it does create a lot of stress at home when you start a business, because you're getting calls at 8, 9 o'clock at night from clients and you're answering them. You know what I mean? And so, asking for that year to really just give to your business, and you will sacrifice your first 2 years. Once you get over the 5 years, you're really kind of sailing, because you've changed so much. You will change so much as a human. If you guys would have met me 13 years ago, you would not recognize me. I was not the same person. I didn't know how to speak to people. I was completely shut off from the outside. I didn't understand money at all. I mean, I was offered Bitcoin at 25 cents. And I said, I would not put my $20, I would not waste my $20 on that scam, because I was so focused on poverty. And so it's, find out your why, because that's what kept me going. And I know that sounds cheesy as hell, but it's true. If you find out why you want to be done with your job, it really helps when those hard times come, because they will come. And you also have to get almost like addicted to success. And, I don't know about the culture and the communities that you guys are in, but I think here where I'm at, it's definitely okay. It's like most people are addicted to success who are entrepreneurs here. And so that's not a good term or analogy, but I am almost addicted to okay, my goals are such a priority to me, and so no matter what happens, I'm always on the next thing. And like Phil was saying, it doesn't stop. It's like a ball that rolls. And, I remember talking to an entrepreneur. I was about 3 years into my business, and I had broke down to her, and I was like, she was a coach. And I said, I just want to reach the finish line. I just want to hit that plateau. She said, "You'll never hit it." And I was like, "What?" Like my whole world exploded around me. I was like, "What do you mean I'll never hit it?" She's like, "It never stops. It's just a ball. You just keep going and going and going. You're like a hamster." I was like, "What?" She said, "Once you learn to accept that and embrace that you never hit a plateau, you just keep going, then life becomes so much more easier." So now I just look at it like, we're just go, and there's no end goal in reaching. There's just going, and I embrace that. And that changed a lot for me.
Yeah, some pretty good advice there. But I think it's when you get a little bit of taste of success, you just want more and more and more, don't you, really? I think if you don't ever get any, you're probably not used to it. But once you get that little bit of taste, you just want to keep on going. And another thing, what you mentioned about women in the industry, I get this quite often. A lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, there's as many women in the industry as there is men." Just to give you a rough idea, obviously I've got some good stats here. Obviously, it won't be 100%, but this is the membership in Tech for Techs. Okay, so 8% of the members are female. So that gives you a rough idea. So you are.
I had one man in my class tell me, because a woman in class said, "I felt so good when I seen the videos because it was a woman who owns a business." And a man said, "Why does that matter? Why do women always say that?" And I was like, "What?" I said, "This industry is male dominated. You can say what you want to, but I have maybe 3 female clients. I maybe a month get 1 female in my class. And maybe 40% of those a year are actually going to do something in the industry." So it's like, yeah, I mean, and we're not looking for sympathy. I'm just saying that they don't understand it. As a spouse, if you're a man and you're listening to this, as your spouse, they don't understand you. They don't understand your tech industry. You think they do, they don't. That's why this is a male dominated industry. So you need to sit down and talk about, write it out. People, especially men, laugh at mindset. They laugh at rituals. But every day I write down my goals. Every morning I wake up, I have a pin board in the front of my bed that says all of the things I'm working on, that I have a huge company. I'm looking at a contract right now. Yesterday, I wrote on a big piece of paper, "Contracts done, signed for, buy, and this is the amount." And I tabbed it right there. When I wake up, it is right in the middle of the board. And yes, that's a silly mindset thing, but I can promise you that it works. I can promise you that it works. And I can tell you, I can talk for hours about things that I've done that I had vision board things for and posted for, but putting it out there and wording it out also to your spouse will make your life a little bit easier.
Yeah, some pretty good advice there. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to watch this show back through from the beginning afterwards just to remember everything what's been said, to be honest with you. So, but that's a good tip, guys. If you want to listen to the show afterwards, you can do, because it'll be live on a podcast as well. So there we go. Just to quickly go through some of the comments, Neo Computer says, "Don't forget the ICO fee if you process customers' information." He's just paid his, basically. He thinks it was around 50 quid for the year. And Peter Whitehouse has nicely got his calculator out or done a Google search and says $20 is £14.50. Okay, just to give you an idea. So let's go on to Will. Do you have anything you want to add to the conversation, Will, before?
Yeah, I think it's been a good topic. It's certainly opened up my mindset for different things, and I'm going to give Nicole a plug here as well, because I've been on Clubhouse. And here Nicole and a chap called Ahmed, and they're great motivational speakers. So you should check out Clubhouse and join up and whatever you need to do for it, because it's really good hearing the perception of other people in the same business and doing tech things. It's brilliant. So yeah, I mean, I am going to go full time, definitely. When though, that's just getting things, getting getting things put in place to do it. But yeah, it's definitely something I want to aim for. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Right, let's go over to Ian. So Ian, do you have anything you would like to add, or have you maxed out?
No, I think I'm processing it. I'm processing everything that Nicole said. There's some really good stuff there. And I think I was just looking at Richard's post about women in the industry. I also think there's a lot of women I know just aren't interested. And I think they keep pushing. There's not enough females in certain industries, but mate, they're just not interested.
They're not interested either. That's another fact too.
And I speak to my partner, and you mentioned in your speech there, Nicole, about you talk to your spouse and they're like going, I try and get my missus involved, and after 5 minutes it goes over because she's just not really interested. And I say, you don't have to be interested.
No, just respect my goal. Just see my vision, Yeah. Just support me. Just support me. That's it.
Exactly. And she is good on the phone and she does deal with customers. But if I start talking tech and explaining to her what something is, I can see her eyes just glaze over.
Right.
Like, yeah, I've got to go and do the dishes. I'm like, So, but yeah, no. Thank you. A very, very insightful show, I have to say, and it's given me food for thought. And yeah, I'm gonna do some serious thoughts over Christmas, especially. I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm going to say I'm glad you've both been able to get something out of this show. I'm going to say I'm pretty sure Nicole has as well. If not, she's definitely give people confidence to go a little bit further, I think. So, but yeah, some point you just have to take that step, and I think it does change you, as Nicole says. 15 years later, you probably not recognise her. For me, I'd say even less for me, to be honest. And once I start. 5 years ago, even, you would have not got me on a live show like this. No chance. You wouldn't even got a picture of me, let alone going on a live show. So I think it's one of those things when you are self-employed. You're probably the same in other businesses as well. It does build your confidence up doing certain things. But I think when you are successful, you tend to get more confidence, and it just builds you up, and you're willing to go that extra mile. It's either that or you just know you have to do it, and it's got to be done, so you do it. You can't pass it on to the other guy in the office. You've got to do it yourself, and sometimes you just have to take that next step. Unfortunately, some people do take that next step and they do fail. So I would advise everyone to take everything what's been said tonight with a pinch of salt. Obviously, do everything your own way, but just take it as guidance. So obviously, if you do decide to go full time and you go bust, don't blame me, don't blame William, don't blame Nicole or Ian. You can blame Ben because he's not on the show tonight, but he's a good person to blame. I don't know why, but he just is. But yeah, anyway, so what we'll do is basically call it for tonight. We do have a show next week. Next week's show is going to be a Christmas show, and when I say Christmas, no, we're not going to get Christmas trees up and stuff like that. We're going to be talking about doing for Christmas, as in sales, should be offering special services, bundles, giving stuff away, and so forth. Cormac is going to be on that show, or at least he told me he is anyway. It was his idea, so you better be. And we will be looking for some more guests to come on that show as well. So if you're interested, let me know. The week after, we do have a show with Deep Cool, so a brand what's not really been seen too much, or especially in the Tech for Techs group. They will be on the show in 2 weeks' time, so that'll be interesting. And a lot of you will probably know who the account manager is, or the vendor manager, or whatever he wants to call himself. It's actually, his name is Ronnie. He used to work for Cooler Master a few years ago. So if you had anything to do with Ronnie a few years ago, you'll definitely get to see him in a couple of weeks' time. And as we said, we're going to talk about moving your business up in coming weeks as well, and a few different other features, including mental health and stress and so forth as well. So we've got quite a bit of a lineup coming up, and I'll post them obviously every week and let you know and keep you up to date with what's happening when and where. So thank you everyone for watching tonight. If you are interested in joining Tech for Techs, make sure you go to the Tech for Techs website, which I'll put the link up in 1 second, if I can actually find it. There it is, which is techfortechs.co.uk/join. When you do click on that link, make sure you actually fill in the questions. We'll ask you your name, where you are, your website, and blah, blah, blah. If you don't get in the group, simple as that. But if you do join up, you'll join over 1,300 members just like you, from vendors, distributors, techs, repair stores, MSPs, repair fix, whatever you want to call yourselves. we're all there basically. So make sure you do join up. I'm getting lots of free information. And as I said, it's free, won't cost you a penny. Okay, so otherwise, that's pretty much it for now. So thank you very much, William, for joining us tonight. Thank you, Ian, and thank you, Nicole, as well. Some very good insights and information. So we'll see everyone next Thursday at 8 o'clock. See you later, everyone. Bye.